mask lovers and horror watchers and monster fans. Welcome once again to the Library of Horror Hotel, where it's time for a look at another great latex Halloween mask on Creepy Cheapies with Dr. Lady. I'm Hugh Beaumont, and today's mask has, a bit of a backstory. First, let me point out on behalf of the mask, people tend to refer to this mask incorrectly. Everybody says the fat lady. Everybody says, "Oh, I like the fat lady" from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, the movie. Yeah, the fat lady. I like the fat lady. What scared me was the fat lady. That is not her name, and bizarrely, I've heard her referred to in horror circles as the pink lady. What? That doesn't even make sense. She's not pink in the first place, and more significantly, I think Pink Lady was in fact a Japanese singing duo in the late 1970s, early 1980s. That was Pink Lady. No. This person is not known as either the Pink Lady nor the Fat Lady. See, those folks thought that her fatness was her single most descriptive, most noteworthy physical characteristic, you see. But no, the actual name, who am I talking about? Of course, it is, of course, the Pale Lady. That's right, the Pale Lady from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Now, this is from the movie, but the movie, which came out in, was it 2019? Yeah, I think it was 2019. The movie had this character based on a drawing from one of the books of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and I bookmarked the page for you. Okay, thank you, Herman. Put Herman down there. Now, here is the drawing, or as some people like to say it, drawing. Here is the drawing in question by none other than Stephen Gamble, well-known and very talented illustrator of both scary books and children's books, and scary children's books, come to think of it. But you can see that when they made the movie, they were very true to the look of the illustration they were basing the character on, as when the movie looks a lot like that artwork that you just saw. Here she is. This was sculpted for Trick or Treat Studios. Who? Yeah, Trick or Treat Studios. By a human. Well, I think it's a human. Maybe I shouldn't make that assumption. I think it's a human. Sculpted by someone named Megan, and here's where I'm going to sound foolish. Megan Many? I'm not sure how she pronounces her last name. I don't know Megan, you see. Her last name is spelled like the word many, as in many hours later, Dr. Lady stopped talking about the mask, as in many. But I don't know. Maybe she pronounces it differently from that. Maybe it's supposed to be pronounced Manny or Mani or Charday. I don't know how she pronounces it, but it's spelled like many. Anyway, or Manyway. How do we know that? Well, it's given on the website as such on Trick or Treat Studios, and here on the back there's a very small MM, and I'm pretty sure that doesn't mean Eminem the rapper. I'm pretty sure that means Megan Many or Manny or Mani, who sculpted this great mask for the Trick or Treat Studios 2020 lineup, which is when the mask came out. And if you know me, you know I like female characters and monsters. I like female monsters, and there haven't been that many of them over the years. The field of scaring has been completely dominated by the male monsters over the years for the most part. So it's nice to see some female monsters and ghouls and creepy creatures, some creepettes finally creeping out of the shadows to scare us. And now I haven't done anything to this mask. This is straight out of the bag from Trick or Treat, and I'm getting in really closely here so that you can see she has, of all things, eyelashes. Because, a girl wants to look her best. She wants to look pretty, so she has eyelashes there, okay? And I did not add those. Those actually come with the mask. She also has black mesh in the eye holes, and that's kind of necessary because the only real description given of her in the original story is that she has black eyes and black hair. So if they just cut the eyes out, it's better to have the black net behind the eye holes, I think. Now, if you were going to use this at Halloween, and boy, I wish we were doing Horror Hotel this year. Oh man, I would love to have her in. I know right where I'd put her. I know right where I'd use her, folks. We have a part of Horror Hotel in an upstairs hallway, and we always had a part where there's a section of the hall that the tour stops and you go the other way, and people don't go down one end of the hall. And every year I would have to come up with another excuse for why we're not going down the hall that way, we're going to turn around. And there would be something that people would look at from a distance, a few yards away down the hall. Wouldn't she have been great for that? Because if you saw the movie, you would know that she first appears off in the distance and slowly comes toward the screen and kind of has her arms reached out like she wants a hug. Now, she is, I'm going to have to tell him, I know it was a little upsetting, but I have to tell you, she feels that she was grossly misrepresented in the movie. And honestly, sweetheart, any version of you that is a depiction at all is probably going to have the syllable gross involved somewhere. But she feels she was grossly misrepresented in the movie because in the story, she's actually a benevolent and helpful, whatever she is, ghost possibly, who actually helps people by warning them away from danger. Now in the movie, if you haven't seen it, mute me for a few seconds here. Okay. If you haven't seen it, well, or if you have seen it, what she does in the movie is put her arms out for a hug, and then when she hugs a guy, she kind of absorbs him into her. It doesn't make any sense at all. Now, the stories all fail to make sense in a pretty realistic, nightmarish, folklore sort of ghost story way, but the movie, unfortunately, fails to make sense in a very Hollywood way, which is sort of different. But they did at least hedge their bets a little by keeping her very friendly looking. If you look at this face, and yeah, that's a face. If you look at the face, you'll find that unusually for masks, she doesn't look at all angry or hateful or ferocious or evil. She looks kind of friendly and benign and kind of innocent and kind of like she'd be a nice whatever she is. But they hedged their bets a little bit by having her absorb a frightened person, and it could be argued that she did that to protect him from the true evil rather than to eat him, because she's not really supposed to be evil exactly. She's just creepy. She's a thing that comes out of people's dreams, sort of like Freddy, except that Freddy's often in a bad mood. And her, we don't know anything about her. We don't know exactly what she is or anything. Now, I mentioned before, this is straight out of the package from Trick or Treat. If I was going to do anything to the paint here, the only thing I think I might go back and do this, as you may have noticed, on her lipstick right in the middle of her mouth there, I think I'd like it better if the dark line continued on through her blotchy pink lips, her pursed part of her lips there, but it sort of stops. The dark purple sort of stops. So I might go back and do that. But really, it doesn't really need anything because it looks pretty good. It looks pretty close to what was in the movie. It could be said that she could use more hair. The one in the movie has much longer hair, so you could get a cheap costume wig, like a witch wig or a vampira kind of wig, and add more hair, or a very expensive wig for that matter. Get a $400 wig and slap it on. She'll be happy with that as well. We don't really know anything about her. She's just this thing that shows up in your dreams. And if you were going to wear her or have a life-size figure or dummy at the haunted house or the haunted hospital or the haunted prison or the haunted karate school or whatever it is, you would just use, I think, a white gown or a plain white robe or a white dress, because you can't really see exactly. In the movie, she kind of looks like she's wearing a dress that she's been wearing so long, and she's made of like some kind of jelly-like goop. She's made of ectoplasm or something, and the dress has kind of like melded into her, so it's kind of indistinguishable from her. So I would use either a white sheet or a white nightgown or something, and maybe add some of that creepy cloth, you know, the white kind that's sort of torn into holes and shreds, and maybe put that on her. And if you're having somebody play her at Halloween, or go to a party, or again doing a figure or whatever, the only other thing you really need is to give her dark fingertips. She looks in the movie like she's been eating blueberry pie with her bare fingers. She's got these dark blue purple fingertips. So smear some blue ink on your fingers if you're going to play her. Again, everybody calls her the fat lady, but she's more than just fat. She's sort of misproportioned weirdly. She's got a big lumpy body, but she's got thin arms that are sort of disproportionate, and her face makes you think her body would be even wider, fatter than it is, but it's more, everything's all skewed and weird, and it gives her a nice, creepy, unearthly, non-human look. But she is, in fact, the pale lady, and not the fat lady. And I don't know how she feels about that. She probably doesn't like being called the fat lady. Are you okay with being called the pale lady? Is that all right? Yeah, that's all right. She's okay with that. She's pleased with her pallor, and if she'll pal around with me, you can understand it. Maybe she thinks she looks good like this. You know, takes hours of preparation to get that wasted look. Could be. She never actually has a name. We could give her a name. What would her name be? Ethel Frumpelmeyer. I think she doesn't like that. Myrtle Fuzzbottom. That's a good, no. Fannie Mae Fracklebone. I kind of like that one. Fannie Mae Fracklebone. Yeah. What do you think? Maybe not. She could be from a foreign family. She could be French. She could be Miss Averdupois. Yeah. Or she may have come from a fine old Irish family. What about that? Mrs. Obesity. Or I don't know. I'm kind of liking Fannie Mae Fracklebone. I think she liked that one. Okay. Again, Trick or Treat Studios, neighborhood of $70. I've seen these from anywhere from $85 down to about $60, depending on who's selling it and what kind of a deal they feel like giving you on the day when you buy it. But big thumbs up, I think, for the Pale Lady mask from Trick or Treat Studios Selection 2020. And if they hadn't done one of her, some individual private artist would have had to, because I think the mask world needed her, because she's so unique and different and weird. Even if you have a lot of masks, I'll bet you don't have anything else that looks quite like her. And that's all from us. What? Am I your brother? I don't think I'm your long-lost brother. No. She thinks I might be your brother. No, dear. I know we do have the same last name, but I don't think we're blood. In fact, I'm not sure we have any.